I have an awesome tardy slip. It's a French medal, but it's not just any French medal. It's from the reign of Napoleon III. And no, 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 this is not your common Franco-Prussian War or maybe an Algerian expedition. This is from the campaign that France conducted in Mexico in 1862, 3, and 4 to reclaim foreign debts and to also install Napoleon III's ally and brother of Archduke of Austria, Franz, to install Maximilian onto the throne. There's a whole big deal. Also, where we get Cinco de Mayo from, 5th of May, 1862, where the Mexicans delivered their first big blow to the French. So, really cool medal. And what's super unique about this medal is that it actually comes in the original box that it was presented in. So, I've seen a few of these medals before, but to have one in the original box is incredibly rare and special. So super happy and honored to own this piece of history, and got to sell it today.
That is pretty nuts.
Very cool.
Kurt is late sometimes, but when he's late, it's always coin related, so I feel like it's fine.
Right?
Yeah, I live and breathe this stuff, guys.
For the few hours that I was in Baltimore for the coin show, I literally get lunch with Kurt, and he's got he's got coins. He's running to a deal. He's coming from a deal. He's got a deal on him. I mean, it was like out of a sitcom.
When I met Jeff and Isaac for lunch, yeah, I mean, it's just crazy, man. I really live and breathe this kind of stuff. So, as a full-time student, part-time coin dealer, well, when I'm allowed to switch into numis mode, as I like to call it, I like to ball out, or I fall out.
Isaac, that's a T-shirt.
Ball out or fall out.
Yeah. Numis mode.
Numis mode. Yeah.
So, how's everyone doing? Dude, you had a baby. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I had a baby Sunday. It was pretty nuts. We just literally we were trying to decide where we're going to go for breakfast, and my wife was like, "Oh my God, I might have peed myself. I don't know." No, her water broke. We went to the hospital at like 9:30. By 4:30, the baby was born. And it was 5 weeks preemie, so obviously it was very worrisome, but he came out 7 pounds 11 ounces, monster, heart, lungs, everything is functional, and we actually got to go home. I think it was like Tuesday, so we've been home for a couple of days now. No sleep, of course, but beautiful, healthy baby boy, and all the other kids are so happy to see him and love him. So it was totally awesome.
Thank God, that's amazing.
Now we're just planning for the sold out fun show.
Planning for the sold out fun show, yeah.
It's coming up quick.
We got our ticket right before it was sold out, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, luckily we have like an Instagram corner that we do for, the last, I think it's like 4 or 5 years we've been trying to like work it together, where we get a lot of people that, are really into the, the whatnots, the eBay lives, the Instagram, TikTok, social media. And we're trying to group us all together at the fun show. It's just a local show for us because it's 2.5 hours north. But we've been trying to like grow this group in this section because the amount of cross content and pollination that we could do really just, in my opinion, supports all of us in the community. So, we've been trying to do this well before Isaac came in and blew up our social media and now it's super famous. But, we really just want to get the community together, because the amount of people that get 1 million views on a video on their platform about a show or about a coin and get enthusiastic just like, you are, Kurt, and how all of we are, I believe the more people it attracts and brings into the community.
Welcome to the Premier Coin Report, your weekly numismatic update. I'm your host, Isaac, and in an effort to become a successful coin dealer, every single week I gather 4 coin dealers from across the country, including myself, to talk about news of the week. Joining me today is Charles from Vegas, Kurt from Washington, and Jeff from Florida. We've got a great show lined up for you today, with the last ever penny going to auction projected to sell for $5 million, a solid gold toilet with a pretty interesting history, and will gold hit $17,000 by the end of 2026? We're going to talk about all of this and so much more in this episode, but first, we start every episode with a game I like to call... We know the title, everybody. Guess that guide. Every single week, I pick a different rare coin, give a little information to my panelists, and their job is to guess the PCGS price guide. We're using Price is Right rules. I have a screenshot of it, but we're looking at an 1862 $1 gold coin in MS-67. Plus, there are only 6 of these in PCGS. The total survival estimate from a mintage of 1.3 million made is only about 4,500. I believe these were pretty heavily circulated, so that makes sense that there's not that many around. But this is a beautiful piece and a beautiful grade. Not many here. I believe it's top pop as well. We'll go ahead and start with Charles. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh wow, the $1 I don't know so much about. It's 62. You said it's a low mintage here. It's a key date.
It is. I think it's a normal mintage. It's just got a really low survival estimate.
Got it. Yeah. So and this is 67.
That's a type 1, right?
Yeah, but this is top pop.
I believe so. This is just for the regular 67 plus.
PCGS price. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 12,000 on that one.
12,000. All right. Jeff, what's your guess?
I mean, I know the dollars a little bit. I feel like the type $2 or the Indian princesses, those are the most expensive ones. These ones were a little bit more common, but I mean, it's 67 plus, right? That's the grade.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. This one's a hard one. If that's a top pop, right? And how many are in that grade you said? I remember you said PCGS had how many?
0 in NGC. PCGS has 6.
We can't go over, right? So I'm gonna try to be even. I'm gonna go 50,000. I think it's a little bit more, but I don't want to go over. I don't want to lose.
Gotcha.
You're saying 50?
Yeah. For Mint State 67, top pop. There's nothing better.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's not unreasonable. I understand why you'd say that. I just have a hard time seeing a non-Southern Mint.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Gold
It's
dollar
just,
selling for 50.
this is like a 1921, Morgan silver dollar in a high grade. Like, just I think it jumps. It's one of those.
I think the fact that there's 7 available. Do I get a guess or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the fun thing about the 1862 gold dollar is that it was actually the first gold coin that I ever owned. My mom, when I was for my 13th birthday, she bought a AU Details polished off of eBay.
Oh, nice.
For, I don't know, like $200.
Nice.
This is 8 years ago now. It's crazy to me. And she actually made a custom cake with the Type 3 gold dollar. And of course, I still have that coin. So every time I see an 1862 gold dollar, I think of her. I think of that moment. My first gold coin ever. Super grateful to have such amazing parents. But, little 13-year-old me was ecstatic. Something that she did was crazy was that she put it in a huge box like the size of me. And I opened the box, and the box gets progressively smaller and smaller and smaller until it gets like this big, and inside was the gold dollar.
That's awesome.
So that's an awesome childhood memory I have. As for 7 plus, I think both parties are pretty right. But I think the fact that there's 6 of them definitely means that there's enough to go around for the top registry set guys. I'm going to say 25,000.
25,000.
So in between Chuck and Jeff there.
All right, and Charles, yours was 12,000, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right, 12,000. Okay, we're gonna try something new this time. We're gonna give you guys the answer at the end of the episode. Lock in what you think the price is in the comments, and then you can see if you got it right at the end. We're going to go ahead and move into the rest of the topics here. The first big one is we usually get started with the melt values here. Let me get these pulled up real quick. Bear with me. We're holding pretty much the same as we were yesterday when I checked it out. Use kitco.com. That's the one that, I don't know, it's the most reliable. It's kind of hard to find like a good silver, gold spot sheet that's like up to date and isn't just the futures market. Kitco is pretty reliable. They do some good stuff. And Kitco News is good too. Go watch some Kitco News. They're like our direct competitor, but just for gold. But anyway, gold right now.
Aren't they the most popular channel as well? They're pretty crazy out there right now, aren't they?
They've got almost 1 million subs now at this point. So they're pumping.
That's pretty dope.
Very cool. But gold's sitting at 40.76, silver at 50.51. We've stayed pretty consistent. I feel like it's sort of calmed down. Does anyone have any comments about the gold and silver markets? It's sort of, we had the big jump a few weeks ago. It's sort of dipped back down, a little correction, but it's still up a good, what, $600 for the $700 for the year?
No, more than that. It's up
not much.
$1,400 for the year.
Yeah.
Where was it at the beginning of the year? Was it
2,600.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 2,600 at the beginning of the year?
I remember selling 20 libs at 26.75 back in January. So yeah.
That's crazy. How do we feel about this? I feel like we've kind of said everything there is to say. We'll talk a little bit more about the markets later.
I really like $4,000 gold because it makes math easy. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right. 5 ounces, 20 grand.
So in bull markets, it's typical to have larger corrections. I wouldn't be mad at seeing gold go down to 3,800, but I think if it does that anywhere in that range, expect a hard bounce back up to above 4,000. And ultimately, the direction it's going is to 5 too. So I think eventually we'll see 5,000.
Okay. And the billionaire in the video that you sent as well sort of is corroborating that sentiment, except to a much higher degree, and we'll talk about that in a
Correct.
bit.
Yeah.
Kurt, I wanted to ask. You said it makes math easier. Just for a little insight into like what the day-to-day sort of looks like for a coin dealer. What kind of math are you doing with gold, and why does 4,000 make it so easy?
Oh, it's great. A lot of the coins that I handle most frequently, like if you take a look at like LMU units, like your 0.1867 for a 20 franc, if you know that gold's at roughly 4,000, we've been seeing $100 swings, $200 swings every day these past few weeks. So like just roughly in my head, I can do like a 0.2 times 4,000, somehow get up to the right answer.
Right.
Or your 20 lib's going to be 0.9675, and then your fractions of the 20 lib, like your 10's going to be half of 9675. Your 5's going to be a quarter of 9675. So I don't know. I think it's really great. I'm a rare coin dealer, so I don't speculate on tomorrow's prices when it comes to gold and silver. At least I try not to. My personal investments aside. So when I'm buying inventory or selling inventory, a steady gold is the best gold for me, because that's when premiums start to rise. People can feel confident in what they're buying, that it's not going to be worth less than what they paid for it the next week, because gold dropped $200. So just really wild times to live in. I have to say, we'll be talking about this year for a while to come. Hopefully this is the most exciting year for a while that we'll have.
Yeah, because I will say there is a large swath of people. I've used the word swath twice in this podcast now. We should have a swath counter in the top left. There's a swath of people who are sort of just getting into the coins for the bullion value of it at this point because of the big jumps. I've never experienced anything other than this year of numismatics, so it's like, it's interesting to see what the give and take is with the market. But you mentioned that when gold is more steady, the premiums go up. Could you explain for the audience and for me how that works and what that mechanism is?
Sure, and that lays into like supply and demand, right? So like we'll take a sovereign, so 0.2354 of an ounce, right? AGW roughly. Like in a market where gold's, it's a steady 2,000, which is sort of like, the market in which I made my bones trading them. There were years where gold never went below or above $250 around that 2,000 benchmark. So like the lowest point of the year would be 1750, the highest point would be 2250. So in those levels of relative stability, that the melt value of a sovereign, which was roughly a quarter ounce, never really went below or above $50 past what you paid for it. Buyers felt comfortable paying $800 or $900 for a George IV or a low-grade George III example, because they knew that, intrinsically the value was, steady. Now you take in mind an Australian or even a Canadian sovereign at these price levels where they melt at, oh geez, I don't know, $800 or $900 now, $900 plus. I don't even know. It's craziness. People are skeptical of paying more than gold when they can buy
Right.
so many things for back of gold. Refiners are backed up. At least for silver, they've put stays on their purchasing orders for pre-64 silver. So people are melting them at home. I mean, I don't even know if that's legal, but I've seen it. Um, in in a volatile market like the one we've been seeing for the past, especially 6 months, people feel less inclined to make premium decisions. They'd rather just buy as much gold as possible, rather than focusing on the semi-numismatic stuff. Premiums haven't gotten a chance to catch up, right? So an $1,100 coin 2 years ago is still an $1,100 coin today. Just when it was 1,100 2 years ago, it had $550 worth of gold, and versus today it has $1,100 worth of gold in it.
Yeah.
It's a complicated
That's
topic
right.
that I don't understand myself quite, so I'm not a good teacher, but hopefully that explanation helped somewhat.
So, I mean, think
Gotcha.
about it from a buyer's perspective, right? If the gold price is stable, someone's willing to stretch out and pay a little bit more for a date that they want to buy, as opposed to like, oh no, well, let's see what happens with the gold price. I may be able to get it for my price anyways.
It seems like the gold price is like swallowing up the premiums.
Correct.
Is it the general vibe that premiums like naturally come back, or
No, the premiums will come back on more semi-numismatic stuff if the gold market is stable again, like Kurt was saying. But I mean, right now, if it's a genuine key date or a rarity, I mean, the gold price is really irrelevant, even though the base metal value of the coin
yeah,
is gold.
right, right. And for that reason, I feel like we need to give less attention to the melt values at the beginning of the episode, but we have such good conversation about it. It looks like
Oh,
Jeff can't make it for the rest of the video. Um, the hot topic for this week, what we just talked about the gold price. So I do have a story on a gold toilet that sold for $12 million recently at auction. It was a solid gold 18 karat gold, fully functional toilet that was originally in a museum in Austria or something. No, okay, so it was in Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire, England. It was exhibited on loan from the permanent collection of the Guggenheim Museum in New York
oh
City.
well.
And people believe that thieves broke it up or melted it down to sell the gold.
Yeah, that toilet's no longer. There's
Were
no way.
Three local men were
Exactly.
convicted for the theft, but that was only one of three solid gold toilets that were made from the company, Italian artist Maurizio Catalan. He made these in 2016. They are fully functioning. When it was set up in the Guggenheim Museum, people lined up to take a poop on the golden toilet, and they had a security guard there. They just recently put it up for auction, and it sold for $12 million. It had about
Oh my goodness.
103 kilos of 18 karat gold, which melts out to $10,120,357 if gold is around $4,070. I thought that was just interesting.
Hmm.
It's a solid gold toilet, so about a $2 million premium.
Wow, that's crazy. I don't know, man.
I got to talk to some of my refiner buddies. I got some good ideas.
Let's get to the thing everybody's been talking about. All right, we are no longer making pennies. For those of you who don't know, the penny is officially over. The last 5 pennies were struck in Philadelphia last week, I think on the 14th. There's some controversy around this auction. This is not the first time there's been controversy around an auction, but a lot of people are, a little upset about the way that the guy was holding the coin. Did you guys see the video? of the final striking of the last
I
pennies?
did. I did see the video. Yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Clips from it.
It's okay. So here's my contention. Let me give a little bit more context. There are 232 sets of 3 pennies each. 2025 pennies. The only difference about these is that they have an omega mark, which is the last letter in the Greek alphabet, which is they were trying to be like metaphorical and be like
It's a little
penny.
I don't know. I don't know about the use of omega. I think it's a little I don't know.
It's a little on the nose, maybe.
It's a little biblical. I don't know.
Yeah. This is
Omega.
maybe sort of cool. The first ever gold cent. It's only cool because it's the first one, not that it's made out of gold. But like they never really did this with coins back in the day.
That's not true.
I am not. Oh, is it not true? Okay. What do we have an example of a?
We don't have
like
gold, but we have silver
patterns.
restrikes of large cents.
Yeah.
We have
And
patterns,
Silver
and we
ones,
also
I
have
think, might
silver.
count. Okay.
We also have silver restrikes of large cents.
Okay, but okay. All right. Well, I'll retract that. There may be some that sort of count as a.
We're nerds, bro.
A different color set. That is why. This is why we're here. We're all learning together. That's why I get you guys in a group, so I can say dumb stuff and you correct me. But you get 3 coins. You get one from Denver, one from Philadelphia, one in gold. There's 232 sets to commemorate the 232 years that the cent was used in circulation in the United States. And there's some controversy about it. First of all, why did they not just take the actual last 5 circulating pennies instead of striking new pennies? Some people are saying this isn't even technically the last penny because they struck
They're
the last
specialty
penny, I
sets,
think,
yeah.
like in August. Right, it's a different type of coin, right? They put
I
a
guess,
Jersey mark
yeah.
on a silver eagle.
Damn, that's
And they call
annoying.
it a
You're
different
right.
silver eagle.
Technically, they'd be right. Yeah, technically, it is a new
it's a
type.
specialty set. Yeah.
They
Damn.
struck a new coin.
That's annoying. I
Yeah.
It would be great if they did it like how they did the 1921 Denver Morgans. How the first 10 or so they struck were engraved after striking. They should have engraved them after striking to keep continuity.
Yeah, like why wasn't the Treasury Secretary standing there on the last day and scoop up the last 5 pennies and then like put a mark on them to
Right,
make
or
the
just
new
have them
mark? Like that's going to
certified.
be slabbed differently. It's going to be different in the registry set. It's interesting. The other controversy was the way that he was holding the penny. Some people were saying he held it improperly. Yeah, he's like touching the face of the coin.
Yeah, he definitely held it improperly because the Secretary of the Treasury is not a coin collector, so I mean we can't necessarily blame him.
Yeah, but he's trying to sell a penny for $5 million.
Is it $5 million?
Yeah, that's
$5
what they
million they want?
estimate.
No,
That's what they want for the last set. Yeah, for like the
God.
number one. It comes with the canceled out dies. It comes with one from Denver, one from Philadelphia, and the gold one. And they're estimating $5 million, which that number's just kind of thrown out of thin air.
We'll see. I don't know.
think
They
even
may
the
be able to
flowing
get
hairs-
someone to buy it.
I hope not.
I'm sure they do. So another interesting thing going on with this is one of my good friends has started a GoFundMe to raise at least $50,000 to attempt to win one of the last 232 sets and release them into circulation. The reasoning behind it is limiting it to this 232 set and putting it at auction doesn't give the opportunity to a general collector. It sort of requires a bit of a deep pocketbook, so to speak, especially if it does go for $5 million. I'll leave the link for the GoFundMe in the description below if you want to donate to this. I might put some money into it just for fun, but it does sort of hurt from like an intrinsic, like coins are sort of supposed to be circulated. You know, that's sort of their function. Part of me doesn't even really care that the guy held it wrong. because like at least now that coin sort of has fulfilled its purpose a little bit. I know that's whimsical and doesn't matter numismatically at all because the MS-70 is more important than whatever stories is associated to it. But I digress.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, why one are the prices estimated so high on this, and where do you expect this to actually fall?
Why? Because they make them up. You know, there's genuine rarities that you could buy for that price range, and I don't, I certainly have, clients that have the money to pay for something like that, but I wouldn't recommend it, nor would I think any of them would be a bidder in that auction.
My question is, would the first cent even sell for 5 million?
I think if we knew it was the first cent, maybe. Like if we had a signature from the mint director that was
Like,
like, this is the
know.
first Lincoln cent,
Yeah, that's
it would be an '09 SVDB. So
No, I'm
that
talking
would
about
be,
like even like a 1793 wreath cent. Like if we had a letter from friggin' Rittenhouse saying it was the first cent, I'm not even sure it'd break 5 million.
yeah.
probably not.
Well,
No.
I don't know. I mean, maybe if we did have a letter from them, that would, but that would be worth it, right?
I feel
Like
like that would
five
be.
million dollars.
I'd
That's
much
not
rather that.
unreasonable for that coin. Yeah, I mean that's not unreasonable for that coin, but to pay for these specialty sets, these specialty coins that they made, I mean, if they're looking for $5 million, that seems like a crazy amount of money. But who knows? Like you never know. Like there's someone, like I said, they paid. What was that painting with the banana that he put a giant he put a banana on and attached it, duct taped it or something to a canvas. I'm
Yeah.
vaguely recalling this, but I think it sold for $6 million, and a collector bought that.
I think he ate the banana right away too, right? He paid $6 million and then took a
Did he
bite out of the
really?
banana.
No.
I think
Wow.
so. I might be making that up.
Maybe, I don't know. You never know what people want to do, with their money. They could do crazy things for
You
sure,
never
but
know.
I just don't see
You
I
never
don't
know.
see it being worth
It's
five
it,
million bucks. The whole thing is crazy to me. I think they should have just took the last strike, gave it to PCGS to certified. Like, you ever see the first day of issue coins?
yeah.
You could take that and be like, oh, this was the final example struck or whatever. Final penny, put some type of specialty label on there,
Right.
and that would have been the final penny ever struck.
Yeah. I think they should have just taken it right off of the press. Kurt, do you
Right.
see this?
Right.
If it does sell for 5 million, or even if it doesn't sell for 5 million, do you see this possibly being worth 5 million in the future?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, anything could be worth 5 million in the future if inflation continues. Yeah, of course, we're all going to be millionaires if we live long enough. Yeah. A bottle of
Good
water
answer,
might
bro.
cost $5 million in 2040. Why not?
Let's get rich, dude. We'll be drowning in cash.
I mean, but I don't think it's going to be a good value at 5 million. No.
Okay, so this is the only reason why I think it might be worth 5 million. There are guys out there who have spent their life putting together a super crazy Lincoln cent collection, trying to get the highest grade over the last, I mean, it's been around since the 1909. So theoretically, there could be a collection out there that started in 1909 and is still there. I don't know. Probably not, but there could be. Those guys, even if there's just 3 or 4 of them who have a competitive Lincoln cent collection, if you truly want the last business strike Lincoln cent, and like the fact that we know which one that is, if you were to take this same concept and put it onto a Morgan dollar type set, and you're looking at a guy who has top pop on every Morgan dollar, and we know exactly which Morgan is the last Morgan, better yet, you get a San Francisco, a Denver, a Philadelphia, and a gold one. Like I feel like that is huge. That would be worth 5 million.
But Isaac, it's important to note that this wouldn't be the last business strike. This was not produced for circulation.
Correct.
That's my big contention with it. is
So I
that
don't
they
even think
did
it should be
just
added to the set. I
strike a
don't think it should be added to
presentation
the
piece.
series.
Do you think it should just totally be totally gone? Just totally separate?
I mean, it's kind of like the 1913 V-nickel. Like, I'd be curious to see if the top registry set collectors for V-nickels count the 1913 as part of the regular series or not.
Yeah, I think if you're that's fair. I think that's fair. I think there is another level of possibly like there's a bit of a novelty to it. Like you don't necessarily collect the V-nickel to fill in the collection, but it's like you've collected every V-nickel, and now the U.S. Mint has a V-nickel coin. Like you go ahead and get it. So if there's like 3 or 4 bigwigs who have every Lincoln cent in the highest grade possible, and it's like, okay, what do I bid on in November of 2025 or December of 2025? It's like I got the last penny. Okay, I agree with you though. I don't think it counts as the last cent.
They'll probably do something like where they'll make a set with like including varieties and specialties. That's just an extended registry to include it in there, like they did with the nickels. I'm sure that that's going to be the case, but we'll see.
It's all in the eyes of the people paying for the coins. We get to boo them from a distance,
From
but
afar. Yeah,
ultimately,
it's
if they
true.
collect the whole set, if they collect the whole set and claim that it's the full set, you know,
No,
I don't know.
absolutely,
I don't know if there's much we can do about it.
absolutely,
But
for sure.
anyway, I don't know. It's interesting. I would not pay $5 million for them, but out of solidarity to release one into circulation and maybe get a cool prize for somebody, I'm probably going to put a few dollars into the GoFundMe just for fun.
Sure,
They
why
might
not?
lose it, they might win it.
Definitely.
But let's go ahead and move. Yeah, let's go ahead and move to the final topic. Charles, you shared a YouTube video in our group chat last night, and I went through and I listened to most of it. The basic gist I got was that there's this billionaire guy, Pierre Lassonde. He's big on, I believe, he's a billionaire. I don't quite remember exactly what he does. Go look him up. I'll put the link to the video in the description because I think it's just good to hear from people in this space. But he's claiming that gold is going to hit around $17,250 by the end of 2026, and it's inevitable. Charles, could you explain sort of what his reasoning was behind that and like whether or not you agree with his position?
Well, so you probably listened to more of it than I did, but here's the gist that I got from it. I mean, he talked about a lot of the same things that I've been discussing here and others on the podcast have been discussing about the metals prices in general. And the remonetization of gold is a big driving factor that he mentioned in there, and that's something that we've been directly discussing about, like the international banks restocking up on gold, including the Fed in that. And a lot of people now look at the push in the state of Florida where they say it can be accepted as money. I mean, there's been this push to remonetize the metal, but and I do think that that'll help push the metals in a positive direction. I'm not as extreme as him in thinking that gold's going to be, $14,000 or $15,000 an ounce, but I do see it going to 5. I mean, I don't see, unless I see other economic factors that show me otherwise. I still am headed in that direction of we're still in a bull market on the metal, and the different remonetization efforts plus plus inflation concerns and the devaluation of the dollar more specifically is going to give a lot of support to gold and ultimately push it in a more positive territory. Now, there's always going to be corrections in any bull market. You'll find you'll have more extreme corrections. So it's perfectly understandable to see gold go to 3,800 or 3,500 possibly, but ultimately, I think the trend is still upwards on it. So I agree with them. I'm just not as extreme as him.
Okay. Yeah, and I keep hearing about I think it's China has now opened up a new facility with just like a gold storage where they're kind of acting like the United States was after World War II, where they just kind of had everybody's gold and were like, trust me, we've got it. And
Right.
then France came in the 70s and like came and tried to get all of them. They like brought a warship into New York, tried to clear out the vaults. So there's definitely seems to be more demand internationally for the metal in high quantities.
Yes.
And obviously, if more other countries are throwing their money into the price, and obviously we can't make any more gold. That's one of the points. It's not easy to make a gold mine, and production has been pretty stagnant.
Correct. Well, a couple things like new innovations, all the money that went into mining technological innovations went into shale oil primarily. So a lot of money went into the getting oil and gas out of the ground instead of precious metals. And so there's been massive innovations in shale oil technology, but there hasn't been all that much in mining metals and precious metals specifically. And so there's that. And the, on top of all that, the international people having a demand for gold, we've seen directly in our auction business because we've talked to clients coming from Europe, Japan, and other places that are not only buying gold, but they're buying coins as well. Every time that the dollar kind of devalues to their currency, they've been trying to come into the market. We've seen them step in and just bid on things in our auction or try and arrange direct purchases and private sales with us, working with us directly.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning as well. People talk a lot about the inflation in the United States, which obviously there is inflation over the last 4 years, especially through COVID and whatnot. Inflation went through the roof. But we do outperform pretty much every other major nation when it came to our performance throughout that period, and we still overperform in inflation for most other countries. I'm not sure if there is a country at the moment. I'll have to look at a chart. But other countries, like if you're trading and you're holding your money in a different currency, the inflation typically I would think is higher. Granted, this is coming from a not fully educated perspective, just sort of a thought. But it makes sense that people in other countries, if this is the case, are going and jumping into the gold markets at much higher rates more recently.
There's been other.
We lost Charles and we lost Jeff. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Premier Coin Report. If you made it all the way to the end of the episode, we're about to reveal the Guess the Guide winner. As an update, we were talking about an 1862 $1 gold coin, an MS-67 plus. Our guesses: Jeff guessed 50,000, Gammer guessed 25,000, and Charles guessed 12,000 for MS-67 plus. The PCGS price guide is $17,500. Does make Charles the winner of this week's Guess That Guide. Let us know if you got it right in the comments down below, and leave a like if you enjoyed the episode. Charles, do you have anything you want to close out with? Anywhere people can find you?
Yeah, you could always find us at vegascoindealer.com, bidnow.vegascoindealer.com.
Kurt, where can people find you?
You can find me at GammerCoin on Instagram, full service website launching soon.
There you go. Awesome. We're looking forward to that. That'll be cool. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Make sure to